Hey everybody, this is Joel Williams and Jared Easter with Williams ELLEBY. We are personal injury attorneys in Kennesaw, Georgia. Sorry I haven't been with you the past couple of weeks. I've been getting ready for trial and in trial. But being in trial gave me an idea for a video, and today we want to talk to you about alcohol and how it plays into personal injury cases and how it can affect an increase in value or a decrease in value of the claim itself. So first, let's take it from the perspective of if the person who's bringing the claim has been drinking or is intoxicated when they bring the claim, how could that affect the value of their ultimate recovery?
It could affect it in a lot of different ways, but most importantly, probably the threshold issue is if you're bringing the claim, it could potentially affect the recovery in a way to where you end up getting nothing if you were so intoxicated that maybe you were contributing to in some way, or maybe a jury could feel like that the alcohol or your inebriation affected the way you operated the vehicle or the way you acted. It could be a situation where, despite the other person being at fault as well, the jury could find that you were equally as responsible, or it'd be a 50-50 situation, in which case that would bar your recovery altogether.
Yeah, and depending on what state you're in, it could have a tremendous effect, because some states like Alabama and I believe North Carolina, probably some others, if you're 1% at fault, you cannot recover anything. In Georgia, like Jared was talking about, it's 50-50. So if the person bringing the claim is 50% or more at fault for their injuries, then they can recover zero. But it's something to take into account, because even in a situation, let's just say it's a car wreck, and in that car wreck, if the person that's injured had been drinking, but they didn't cause the car wreck, somebody else caused it, and the other person was completely sober, even if the consumption of that alcohol did not cause or contribute to the wreck itself, it's probably going to affect the value of the case, or at a minimum create prejudice for the jury. If the case goes to trial, is going to look at it and say, well, why should we empathize with this person when they were clearly intoxicated doing something they weren't supposed to be doing, and then this happens to them? So it could decrease the value of the case that way. Other situations where it may play a more significant factor would be trip and fall cases, things like that, where the defense is always going to be, well, if the person that was injured had been paying closer attention to where they were going, then they wouldn't have fallen. Well, if your cognition's messed up, if your judgment is messed up and you're more likely to take risk, then surely it's going to play into a situation like that.
Yeah, definitely. When a jury's deciding, did you act reasonable in what you did or where you went, or was it reasonable that you didn't see this? Obviously, if you're inebriated, intoxicated, if you have a high BAC level, then that's going to pose problems in the analysis of, was it reasonable? Because now you're into this weird area of, is it reasonable for an inebriated person versus not? So that's definitely going to be a big part of the analysis for the jury, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so from a plaintiff's or claimant's perspective, it could actually bring the value of the case down. But from the person who is at fault for causing the injuries, it could cause them to pay significantly more if alcohol contributed to the reason that they hurt this other person. So you want to talk about that, Jared?
Yeah, so in Georgia, we have general damages, which are the damages awarded for pain and suffering, medical bills, missed time at work, lost ability to work. But then there's another category of damages called punitive damages, and those are awarded in situations where you can show that someone has been unduly reckless in their behavior. There's some case law about things outside of DUI, but mainly I think what we see more than anything are situations of DUI or hit and run. So, where you're intoxicated and you're operating a motor vehicle and you cause injuries, that entitles you to punitive damages, which is an additional damage that's awarded with the intent to punish the person who is acting unreasonable, unsafe, and drinking and driving. And it allows the plaintiff, the injured party, to bring that claim and seek extra damages to basically get the defendant's attention and hopefully make sure that they don't continue this unsafe behavior in the future.
Yeah, and I think also not only does it open the defendant up to having to pay punitive damages, But a lot of times in most states, well, I don't know if it's most states, but a lot of states have laws that cap the amount that you can recover for punitive damages. Well, in some other states, and Georgia specifically, if alcohol or drugs are involved in the punitive damages award, it's not capped. So in most cases where punitive damages are awarded, they're capped at $250,000. Well, if alcohol is involved, they're not capped. So it could be $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $100 million, whatever it would take to discourage that person from doing this again. So there's significant exposure from a civil liability perspective, in addition to all the criminal things that you could face. The last thing that I'd like to cover is what we call a dram shop type case. And dram shop cases simply involve a situation where somebody most of the time has gone to a bar or a bar and grill and become intoxicated at the bar and grill. And then if you can show that the bar and grill knew that the person was intoxicated, they knew that they were going to be driving, and they allowed them to drive, then if they go out and cause a wreck and hurt somebody, then liability can actually flow back to the bar. So not only is it important for us as individuals to be careful and make smart choices about what we do after we've consumed alcohol, it's also important for business owners who serve alcohol to do it in a reasonable and responsible manner, because even if they're not the one driving the car, if they're the one that served the alcohol and allowed somebody to get drunk, pick up their keys, walk out the door, and then drive away, then liability could flow back to them. So it can affect not just the individuals involved, but it can affect the businesses that provided the alcohol as well.
And also, one last thing along the same lines, with New Year's coming up, social host liability basically functions the same way that dram shop does, but that applies to private residences or people who might be hosting a party at their house, where if you invite people over, you serve them alcohol, you serve them too much, you allow them to drive and leave your house, there's a chance that you could also be exposing yourself to liability for the harms that DUI driver causes when they leave your house and go out that evening.
Yep. And related to that, and we're gonna wrap this up, or Shannon, who edits our videos, will kill us. But if you allow someone that you know that's been drinking or using drugs of any sort to borrow your car or drive your car, you entrust your vehicle to them, knowing their state of mind and how intoxicated they may be. If they go out and cause a wreck and hurt somebody, then that liability can flow back to you. So I guess all in all, nobody here is saying there's anything wrong with having drinks. Nobody here is saying there's anything wrong with doing that around the holidays and doing it in a responsible way. However, it's important from everyone's perspective to make smart choices, to have a plan in place, have a DD, don't overindulge. If you do overindulge, have a plan in place to make sure that you get home safely. And if you are drinking, remember, like, if you get in a wreck while you've been drinking, you're still going to get a DUI, even if the wreck wasn't your fault. And if you get hurt, it's going to reduce probably the amount that you can recover. So we hope that everyone has a safe and happy holiday season. We hope that everyone makes good choices and stays safe out there. If you happen to be hurt by somebody who doesn't make a good choice and is intoxicated, we'll be here. You can give us a call at 833-LEGAL-GA. But we hope this video has been helpful to you. If it has, give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe, and we will see you. Probably the next video will be our bloopers video that Shannon's going to put together. So stay tuned to watch us look like silly fools.